My question is actually, I just wrote down a couple of questions. That is, if you could go back to who you were before your realizations of you being the presence of awareness, how would you, like, what would you tell yourself to your old personal self who was thinking they're the person in this mind and body, to be able to dehypnotize that person?
Well, first of all, because you just started listening to my talks, you're going to be a little bit shocked, but I don't actually talk about consciousness or awareness. I see those as a functioning in this world and a form in this world, and the source of everything is nothing, not a thing, and yet it's everything. And I see consciousness and awareness as a functioning happening and form happening, similar to what the Buddhists believe that consciousness too is also form. So just to
Okay.
say that one. But so what I tend to use the word being, but being doesn't really mean anything. Can I mean being as nothing, as not a thing, and yet everything there is? So,
I think, isn't that the same as being awareness itself?
awareness is something that you can see, right?
Well, I'm thinking more like something invisible that's aware.
But you can comprehend it, right?
Yes,
Um, so
that's
awareness,
the thing.
it depends on how people talk about awareness and consciousness, but awareness, I see, comes with forms and is a functioning in forms. It's a functioning with forms. It's something, it's not the source of everything. It's something that's appearing with forms.
Ah, interesting.
It's intrinsic with forms. It's not the source of everything. But it is the source of everything in the sense of everything is the source of everything. It's everything, every form contains the source, which is no thing. And it's not anything describable in this world. It's not of this world, yet it's everything in this world. It is the whole world.
So is that's a little different than what Rupert and those guys teach? Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah, a little different.
Wow, that's interesting.
There's a similarity in that I don't know the way that they speak and I don't know what they're speaking of, but I think that they come under the bracket of saying it's not two.
Yes,
It's not
exactly.
two.
So I guess what I'm trying to, I don't know, you can call it, I guess you don't call it awareness. So you are just this happening, right?
This and
You
all
are no
things, no
thing,
thing, and it is all things as well simultaneously. And
and it is
this,
all things.
and it's everything or nothing which is looking, nothing which is experiencing, or everything which is experiencing itself. but um, but you asked me the question of what would I say to the 18-year-old Lisa.
Exactly.
It depends on what she was asking me, whether she wanted just to be happy or whether she really wanted to hear non-duality. And I suspect at 18 years old, she just wanted to be happy. And if she just wanted to be happy, then I would recommend then maybe going into to some form of therapies, not Western therapies, maybe physical therapy, like physical therapies, or some form of maybe Byron Katie therapy, as in like you're not your thoughts. But that's not the same as what I'm talking about. That's not non-duality. But I would recommend doing something in order to make the character less neurotic and help the character have a more successful, peaceful life. And I suspect that what she really wanted, Lisa, at that time, was just to be a happier person.
Right.
And that's got nothing to do with non-duality. I mean, non-duality really is about the death of that person, and it's completely different. It gives nothing to the person. It doesn't
Right.
make the person happier. It doesn't give the person a happier life. It's the death of somebody looking anymore, which is really, really radical. It's really beyond any imaginations. And I think at 18, really, I just wanted to know how to deal with things. I just found life a bit of a struggle, and I didn't understand how to deal with relationships. I didn't understand why I get so upset and so emotional about things. I also think it can be helpful for the person to learn about the programming of a human, the scientific programming, to realize that we're not dissimilar to all other animals on this planet and all other forms on this planet, and to understand the actual programming and be realistic about what these bodies are, that these bodies move towards pleasure, and they will do that over everything. They will always move towards pleasure, even if that is the pleasure of saving another person. But this isn't anything to do with non-duality. as such, although it has some common topics like moving towards pleasure. This is just about relaxing the person
Mm.
and making the
But
person happier.
but Lisa, if we if we understand non-duality and we realize our true nature, wouldn't that be the same as happiness?
No, it's totally
Oh,
different. Happiness is something that comes and goes.
so would that be like, do you feel better than you did when you were 18 before your realization?
I don't feel better as such because it's not Lisa that's experiencing anymore. It's not that 18-year-old Lisa that's got a life anymore. So as that person, I don't feel better, but it is total freedom, but not anything like the person would imagine. And it's, I mean, it's the end of that person's life. It's a death of something. It's not just making that person have a
Mm.
more better experience. That person stops experiencing and the movement goes back to beingness, which is absolute full stop. It appears, it disappears. It's the death of anything that holds on to what's happening. Although the character carries on functioning, the character is no longer an experiencer in any way. So that means everything's gone as soon as it's appeared. Because beingness, nothing, has no quality and cannot hold on to anything. The character can remember, but that's no longer the experiencer and no longer taken as a reality as it was before. So it's total freedom, but not any type of freedom that the character and the person can imagine.
Mhm,
And it's not happiness for the person. Happiness for the person is something that comes and goes.
mhm. Okay, so let's say if you were talking to Lisa and she didn't want specifically happiness, like emotions of happiness, but she wanted to know the truth of what she actually is, what would you say to her in that case?
I wouldn't believe her
You wouldn't believe what?
that she wanted to know this.
Oh,
I don't think any person would want to know about their own death.
wow.
I just realised that you can see me if you like. Here, I can turn my video on. It's really not. Um, it really isn't anything for anybody,
Mm.
and I mean that.
So I just want to understand what is happening in this mind and body, because I feel honestly like, Lisa, I've overcome a lot of struggle in my life, and if you'd ask me, I feel like I have a really amazing life in so many ways, and I'm very happy. But I still have this yearning to know
Yeah.
what it's all about. I have this intense desire to just, like, know what it's all about. That's what I want to know. So I don't know if it's me seeking happiness or if it's me seeking wanting to, know the truth or what that is. I just feel that it's still searching.
Yeah, I think that that's the natural part of a human is to search. And so
Yeah.
most probably because you're quite satisfied now and that your life is quite balanced and that you
Yeah.
have a lot of things that you want as a character, then it begins to ask bigger questions.
Exactly.
It's not that person that will go home and it's not that person that will find itself, but it's part of what can happen in some body mind mechanisms. But that you are seeking still for a thing.
Mhm.
You will until the end you will see a liberation as a thing. But in that search, more than likely the person will get eaten. Like I, right until the end, I still thought that liberation was some form of understanding or experience. I really thought I would get something
Mhm.
and have some form of experience. I didn't realize it was the absence of myself.
But when you're just curious, when you say absence of myself, you're still able to plan and design like events for the future, but
Yeah, but
without.
that doesn't equal a separate self. That's a functioning just like the breathing happens.
Wow.
Breathing doesn't require someone. We assume that action and choices that we make equals a separate person and a separate self, rather than it's a functioning that comes with these complicated bodies. Just like the fish swims, the human thinks.
So let's say you plan your next retreat and you're making all this planning, but there's no thought that says, I just did the planning or I am going to go there.
There can be thoughts, but there's nothing that claims that. What is actually planning and speaking and doing in every moment is silence, is emptiness, is
Right.
nothing. It's not going through the filter of somebody that's come from time. So in each moment, whatever's happening, it comes directly from emptiness.
I see. Okay, like I noticed that right now you're having a little bit of a cold, and I actually have a little bit of a cold. So I just wanted to know, how do you interpret this sickness, and if you have headache and stuff like that, how do you? Does that bother you, or what do you? Because
You
right now
still
I have a
speak
little
to
bit of
me
a
as if
headache.
you still speak to me as if you think that somebody's having an experience inside this body.
I speak to you as if. Sorry, could you repeat that?
Somebody's having an experience inside this body. Who do you imagine Lisa to be?
Yeah, that's right. And the way I speak to you, I make an assumption that you're a person,
Yeah.
but that's not the case. you are.
Well,
You.
the same is that way. It's just that in the Shawn body there is something which is claiming to to be to be having an experience. Actually, right there is absolute emptiness experiencing. But there's just a filter in the middle saying, no, it's me, and who it imagines itself is that body, its actions, its choices, its behaviors, what it owns most probably, its spiritual search, its behavior, habit, genetics, intelligence, all those sort of things. That's who it thinks it is. And it thinks that it's looking outside the body and that's what's looking out. But actually, it's total vastness looking out. This is everything looking out, or nothing looking out, or perfect, brilliant stillness looking, experiencing itself in all things. And it's not even looking at the things are the looking. It's
So
quite
how is it
spectacular.
possible that if like we've been raised all our life, we've been treated as a person, like all our parents have been treating us as a person, and anybody we talk to, they treat us as a thing.
Yeah.
How is it possible for that thing to become no thing?
Well, it's not that person that becomes no thing. It was always no thing, but life, no thing, moves the clouds out of the way. It no longer looks through that filter. But it
So is
was,
that happening automatically? Like
yes,
there's nobody
yes,
there to make that happen?
yes, just like everything. Just like the sun
Wow.
shines automatically, the flower grows automatically. It's only the human that has the arrogance to claim its actions. My dog does not sit there and contemplate her actions and think what a good or bad dog she is. She has no
But,
sense of
but
that.
I mean, either way, life has brought us together to be having this conversation for this moment. So,
Yeah.
what could that be the meaning of it?
Because it wants to expose that. It can express every possibility, life, and it
Yeah.
does express every possibility. So it expresses the illusion, and then it also expresses the disillusion of it. It comes home again. It expresses everything.
Okay, but I guess I don't know. I don't know what to say. I just feel like I need to know more, or I need to do something, or I need to realize something, or I need to just be told something, or I don't know.
But that's
Do you
the
know?
whole setup of the person, and that might begin to feel a bit uncomfortable because the whole life that person has been programmed that way. Not only is
Exactly.
it genetically programmed that way, but it's also programmed that way by society, that it's your job to get to places. But actually, there's something else here that's always here, that's totally free. It's not something you can see, it's not got a quality, it's
Mhm.
everything and it's nothing.
So, what would be your recommendation to this person in anything I can do or not do, or
I don't see a person.
what do you would you be able to like imagine what I see as a person?
Well, it's like these sounds are like watching fireworks or something. It's like this. It's just fireworks of sound, and they also come with a meaning. They seem to make sense. The sounds,
Hmm.
but it's like fireworks, and then it's believing that those fireworks equal a person. And
Wow.
you feel like I'm talking to that person, but in every instant, there's all these energies and thoughts and feelings appearing, giving the appearance that somebody's listening to Lisa and that somebody's having a conversation. But it's not. It's life playing an amazingly clever chemical trick.
Wow.
So I can't look at you and pretend that you're something solid in there that could possibly understand or hear this or fix themselves. There is nothing which I could speak to. There is simply stillness, expressing.
Hmm.
It's such a brilliant message, but at the same time, for the person that's always felt like it's doing things, it's very frustrating, but it's so beautiful in its essence. Everything is it.
Yeah, well, my mind doesn't understand it, but I think maybe that's what it needs to hear right now, right? So,
Yeah, if that's what's happening.
well, thank you so much, Lisa. I really appreciate you.
My pleasure, Sean. Lovely to speak with you.
Thank you. Likewise. Bless you. Bye bye.
Bye.